Hello everyone and welcome back to the From the Sidelines podcast, episode unlucky 13. Last week we weren't joined by the infamous Mr. Scott Allen, but this week he's back. People missed him, people love him. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much. Just us two for today, as it has been a while since it's just been us two, as we've had different guests on the show. Before we do get into things, we have reached 40 YouTube views on last week's YouTube video for last week's podcast. And the week before that, which was the first video we've posted of the podcast, we're on 35 views. We're currently on 13 subscribers, which isn't much, but we're still growing. We'll get there eventually. And we are now on... We gained 5 new followers on Instagram over the last week. So thank you to all of you guys for the love and support. So as Scott is back, we will be going back through Fulham. Their game this week, what they've been doing over the last few weeks, how they've been getting on in the table, and also Chelsea, which will start with Chelsea actually because it was a 0-0 ball draw against Spurs. So we will review that. Just before we do, I'll go through the match facts. So Chelsea had 60% possession to Spurs' 40. We had 13 shots, 3 of what were on target, and Spurs had 5 shots, 1 of which was on target, and then 3 corners each. Did you watch the game?
I watched parts of the game, but nothing much was happening, so I don't know.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously I did watch the majority of the game, the main bulk of it. It got very, very boring in parts, as the stats really don't reflect how the game was played out. Both teams looked dangerous. I think the reason we had more possession is because Spurs, they were sat back for most of the game and they countered very, very dangerously in it. And their one chance that they did manage to get a shot on target, big old Edu Mendy was there to save him, which what I will say was a very good save. But overall, there's not much to talk about for this game. Individual player performances, Mendy with another clean sheet, obviously didn't have to do much in the game. Thiago Silva had a really good game from what I saw. Reece James is performing well, Chilwell's performing well, Zuma doing what Zuma does, leaping defensive headers. Kovacic actually got the man of the match in that game, which I was happy with. Pleased to see he's getting back into some form. Kante had a decent game. Werner, I know you've been saying for a few weeks, Scott, that Werner shouldn't be playing on the wing. He did score in the game, but it was offside. It was offside as they played a replay, and it was his whole leg seemed to be offside. Tammy Abraham was causing a few problems. He did make a few good moves and a few good tackles, but overall wasn't the Tammy Abraham we know and love as Chelsea fans. And Ziyech put some really good balls into the box, but didn't really danger the Hugo Lloris. And Mason Mount doing what Mason Mount does, picking out some good passes. So, as a Chelsea fan, my main thing to say is at least we didn't lose. I was going into this game expecting us to struggle. I didn't expect us to put such a good fight up against Spurs. They've been really good all season. They're top of the table. Regardless, as long as they didn't lose to us, they would have gone top of the table. If we'd have won, we would have gone top of the table. And this brings me to a point where I can say I think we've got a chance at the league this year if Frank Lampard plays his cards right, like I said last week. Do you think I'm right, or do you have a different opinion?
I don't think Frank knows how to win.
Why's that?
You played Spurs Yeah, Spurs have been playing really, really well, but Spurs were there for the taking, and Chelsea couldn't do it. I think team selection probably wrong again. Tammy Abraham, I don't know what he's got over Lampard. But he starts every game. If you want the aerial threat, I think some people are, well, Tammy's in there for the aerial threat. Giroud's a bigger aerial threat, so why is Giroud not playing? Werner playing through the middle. I think a lot of Chelsea fans want to see it. I believe that Chelsea would be a bit different if Werner played through the middle. But Pulisic is back now, so maybe there is a shift in the starting 11 coming. But Pulisic didn't look up to scratch in the game. He still didn't look fit.
Yeah. What I want to say about having Werner in the middle with Pulisic being injured, I think the main reason Werner's been playing on the left is because Pulisic has been injured, and
But you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi
that
as well.
that's the thing. Lampard isn't. Well, he says he is a big fan of Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he just hasn't. He isn't. He plays him in Champions League games against Krasnodar and Rennes. I don't think he'll play in the game tonight.
Well, this is the issue. Frank last year had Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it looked like Bayern Munich really wanted to sign him, and Chelsea were adamant that they didn't want him because he had a future. But a year later, because it's coming up to 1 year now since Bayern Munich wanted to buy him for £50 million, and I'd probably say Hudson-Odoi started 6 games since that time.
Yeah, between 6 and 10,
and
for sure.
To start 6 games in a year, and then for you to start 6 games within the space of a year and still be so, oh, you've got a future here, well, it doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. As a Chelsea fan, I think I'm a fan of Hudson-Odoi. I'm a fan of his work. He's a great player. We've seen him rip teams apart in the Champions League. He scored a few goals in the Champions League this season. And when he's played in the league, when he's come on as a sub, he's causing problems. He's getting things done. And Lampard just doesn't see. He says, Callum's a great player. He gets the job done. Then put him in the side against a team that, let's just say, put him in the side against Everton or someone like that. See what he can do against a team that are solid.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should change it just because he hasn't started many games. But I believe now Pulisic is coming back, that there should be a shift. But if we talk about the game, both managers didn't look like they wanted to win the game. Not both teams were set up. Mourinho's clearly going after the model. If you pick up a point away from home, you just have to win your home games. And I think Spurs possibly are in a better seat than Chelsea to win the league this year.
Yeah, definitely. They sit top of the table. They're 2 points above us at the moment. They're getting the results. We've failed to get a few results this year. A 3-3 draw to Southampton and West Brom. 2 games that obviously Southampton are looking like a much better team now.
Spurs also managed to beat Man United, and you didn't.
Yeah, there you go. And they're picking up the results that we haven't. It kills me to say, but Spurs are in a good position this year. Very good position. And I think, obviously, the last time it should have been them to win the league, they bottled it, which was the year Leicester won it. Because there wasn't many teams in that division other than maybe Arsenal.
Well, they come third in a 2-horse race.
Yeah, typical Spurs,
but
really.
I don't know. The game was just rubbish all in, to be fair. Both Kane was pretty ineffectual. I don't remember him touching the ball much in the second half at all. But, you know, a 0-0 draw against a top 4 opposition isn't a bad result. But when you're the home side, you'd feel aggrieved.
Yeah, I thought the draw was probably it's a good result, as you said, because we're playing top four opposition. But we were the home side. We had more ball. We had more shots. We had more of the ball. We had the better chances, and you think, well, we probably should have got a result here.
But did you work hard enough to get a result? This is what I'm saying. You had 13 shots on goal and only 5 of them were on target, maybe 3.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like you created enough to win the game.
Yeah, and in football these days, you've got to take your chances. If you don't take your chances, you don't win football matches, and that's
100%.
So if we look at Chelsea's last 5 league games, or not even league games, just 5 games in general. So we had the 0-0 draw to Spurs on Sunday. We beat Rennes 2-1, which was 1 goal out on my prediction. And speaking of Callum Hudson-Odoi, I predicted him to score the first goal, and he did. But it was a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Sorry, it says 0-0 here, but it was a 2-0 win over Newcastle. We beat Sheffield United 4-1, and we beat Rennes in the reverse fixture 3-0. Now, looking back at those 5 games,
You haven't lost.
we haven't lost, which is good. Is very good, and we've only conceded 2 goals in 5 games, which is again pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this form can continue for us, and hopefully we can get somewhere with what we're building. We're building a winning team. We're bringing in players, Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, that
Havertz isn't even playing at the moment.
where he's had COVID.
Yeah, but then again, Frank Lampard's got that headache with selection when all these players are fit. We said at the beginning of the season, I think he's been very fortunate that at certain times these players aren't available to be picked, because if they are, you feel like these are the sort of players that are in the first team squad. So who misses out now that Havertz has returned and Pulisic has returned? Is it going to be Tammy Abraham who misses out? Is it going to be Mason Mount who misses out? Is it going to be Kovacic who misses out? Or is he going to go Maverick and drop Kante? You know, these are the decisions Frank has got to make in the next few weeks, and he's got to find the winning formula.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say something there, and I completely forgot. That was it. So people go on about how Frank Lampard and Mason Mount is Frank Lampard's son almost. He's getting in the team every week, and he's playing and he's starting every game. And you could say the same for England, but we're not here to talk about England. And what I was speaking to my dad about, he said, well, why does Mo Salah play every game for Liverpool? Because he plays well and he gets the job done. He scores goals, gets assists. Mason Mount scores goals, gets assists, that gets the job done.
I'm a big fan of Mason Mount. I'm a big fan of Mason Mount. But with the same breath, are you picking Mason Mount over Kai Havertz? Probably not. I'm not. Obviously, it's very, very early into his English footballing career, Kai Havertz. But if you pay nigh on £80 million for a player, that player has to play.
Yeah, that's the headache you spoke about before for Lampard. He's got so many good players, young, experienced players. He doesn't know what to do with them, which we've seen over the season. And just before we move on to the Fulham game, I was walking down Stevendale Road the other day, and I turned on right on, I don't know what road it is, but walking, yeah, that's the one. And walking his dog was Andreas Christensen, and I gave him a wave, and yeah, so that was quite cool. But let's move on to Fulham, because there's a lot more to talk about for Fulham this week. I'll let you introduce this one.
Well, I'm still smiling from Monday night. I think Scott Parker tactically was absolutely fantastic. Pre-game, I don't think many Fulham fans would have told you they were happy with the starting 11. but the starting 11 that played and the team that played on Monday night were absolutely sensational. No one expected Fulham to pick up 3 points at Leicester. Before the game, Leicester were third in the league. But we set out and we absorbed their pressure. I don't believe that Leicester had many chances in the game. To be fair, yes, they hit the bar and the post early on in the first half, but after that, we really rid the storm and we defended superbly. Anderson and Adebayo at the back were incredible. Harrison Reed in the middle with Anguissa really hit the ground running and controlled the midfield.
Anguissa, superb.
Lookman and Cavallero also played very well, but for me, man of the match was Bobby Decordova-Reid. He played out on the right and essentially covered at right back. And Bobby Decordova-Reid, as you know, he's an attacking player. So to go in and cover at right back so effectively against a team in Leicester who like to push their fullbacks forward and play expansive football, I think Fulham tactically were superb.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I watched most of the game, and I have to say I thought Leicester were gonna win the game regardless of the scoreline. I thought even if it was 1-0, I would have said fair. That's a fair result. People would predict that. But the thing is, with the way Scott Parker selected the team, obviously, as you said, loads of Fulham fans are a bit sceptical of that. Mm-hmm. And the tactics he chose to play with, it was a huge call. It was Fulham performed it really well. As you can see from the result, Anderson and Adebayo, they're quite good together. I've got to say.
We've spent £5.5 million on our back four. Beginning of the season, our back four was terrible. Now we look like a team that can stop pressure and we can stop oppositions in their tracks. Yes, it's one game, and were Leicester the best they could have been? Probably not, but we defended really well. And I think Jamie Vardy didn't have a sniff all game. The ball but kept bouncing off of him just because of the pressure he was under, but he still managed to win man of the match on the Premier League app, which I think is absolutely
because he got an assist, which helped me with my fantasy a little bit.
I don't understand. It was awful. Kind of mad. The ball bounced off his knee 4 times. He couldn't string a shot on target, but he wins man of the match. Anguissa also makes an absolute pearl of a pass to Lookman for our first goal, and he controls the midfield for most of the game. He's not named as man of the match. Bobby Decordova-Reid plays the game of his absolute life out of position, and he doesn't win man of the match. Cavallero, on and off the ball, was fantastic on Monday night. Doesn't win man of the match, but Jamie Vardy does, and I don't understand.
For bringing up Ivan Cavallero there, I think it was good for him to take the penalty.
Take some balls to stand up and take that penalty. Everyone knows the exact position Fulham were in regarding penalties. We'd missed 3 out of 4 this season, and we'd missed 3 in a row. Cavallero steps up for our penalty, which is crazy to say, but Fulham haven't handed a penalty in our last 4 games. But him to stand up, and it's a very good hit penalty. He doesn't give Schmeichel a chance, and it's a very good penalty.
Yeah, Schmeichel dived the right way, and it still couldn't get it. It was a very good penalty. And Lookman's goal, superb pass from Zambo and Guisa. And just a point I wanna bring up before I go through the match facts and Fulham's last 5 games is your back line is completely different from last season, including the goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yes, we have Areola in goal instead of Rodak. But as I've said on the pod previously, I think it's very harsh on Rodak. But if you've got a player who's got the experience of Areola, he has to play. You know, he's on loan from PSG, spent last year on loan at Real Madrid, spent quite a few seasons bouncing between Madrid and Paris, working with some of the best goalkeepers in the world. So he's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, so he's got to play. Right back, we've got Ola Aina at the moment, who is a bit up and down this year. Was very, very good on Monday. I think every Fulham player played well on Monday, but
Scored a goal against West Brom as well.
Scored a good goal against West Brom, but he was probably one of the worst performers against Everton last week. Anderson and Adarabioyo at the back. Obviously, Anderson's in on loan like Aina. We've got Kenny Tete, who's still not in the squad.
Still injured, isn't he?
Yes, and
is there a date or is there a game week?
No one knows. He should be back in training imminently, but
okay.
Fulham do not release information on players that are out returning, really. Anderson on loan from Lyon. Adarabioyo cost us £1.8 million. And
where do you buy him
from Man City.
Oh, really?
And
good pickup.
Anthony Robertson cost us £2 million from Wigan. So our back line is not very expensive, but all four of them playing in that back four at the moment are very, 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 very good for the price that we paid for them.
Even if you do stick Kenny Tete in, he's still only paid $3 million.
I think Kenny Tete, for $3 million as well, but he automatically gets into the team. He was very good for us the first couple of games, unfortunate with the injury, and I think he just gives us a little bit more defensively than Aina does. Yeah. But on the flip side, I think Aina gives us a little bit more going forwards.
Yeah, definitely. How does your midfield differ this season from last year?
Well, we've got Anguissa back, who's a big boost to that midfield. Kearney still in and around the team with Loftus-Cheek that's in on loan, and with Mario Lemina. So we've got 4-5 midfielders that are playing and fighting out for the 3 spots, and it's not a bad position to be in. I think if we want to improve our team, we might need a better right winger. But again, Mitrovic didn't play this week, and we played really, really well without him. But if this is how we're going to play against the top 6 or the top 10, I don't see Mitrovic fitting into that system. Obviously, Mitrovic is by far our best striker, and he should be playing, but at the moment, I think fitness is a big issue for him.
Yeah, he's had a few knocks recently, hamstring. He's had a dodgy knee, from what I've heard as well.
He played the playoff final for the last 10-15 minutes of it, maybe, on one leg, and he admitted that he should have really been playing, but playoff final, you're not going to tell your manager you're not playing. So
yeah,
but he played on one leg, and I mean, he's found it hard to get back to full fitness since that.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. Mitrovic, we know on his day, he's top striker. He scored goals for fun last season, top goal scorer in the Championship. And obviously for your sake, for Fulham's sake, hopefully he can, once he's back fully fit and he's back in the team, he can start replicating those goals again. So the match facts. In fact, before we do that, your front 3. So you've obviously got the Mitrovic issue, because you can play Decordova Reed there as well. You can play.
But Cav has played up front for the last 2 games.
Yeah, you got. Who else you got?
We've got Ademola Lookman.
Yeah.
Plays on the left. He starts every game and plays every game. Cav has played every game for us this year, I think. And Bobby Decordova Reed has played in every game. Kamara obviously played a small cameo before getting sent off against. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was West Brom.
No, it wasn't West Brom.
Might not have been West Brom, but he got sent off. So
was it Crystal Palace?
Possibly, yeah, I think it was Crystal Palace actually. So he should have served his ban now. and he should be back in the squad soon. But other than that, that is our front three. You know, we have Loftus-Cheek, who can be deployed out onto the right or through the middle, but that's where we need strengthening, is on the wings. We've got Cabano to come back into the team as well.
Yeah, Naiskin's Cabano was a huge addition to your squad. Well, not even an addition, he was huge for your squad last year.
Well, he scored 3 free kicks for us last year towards the end of the season. But, you know, Cabano's a player that he doesn't get a massive run out in our squad, and he doesn't get a massive run out in our team, but when he plays very well. And then he pushes and pushes and pushes, and he plays well. Then he gets a start, and then when he does start, I don't think he grabs the opportunity to keep his place, and it just seems like a circle for Cabano.
Yeah, fair point. And also, we spoke about the goalkeepers earlier, but you say it's very harsh for Rodak because he had such a good season last year.
Matt Rodak saved our season along with Michael Hector last year. This is what I'm saying. As a Fulham fan, I'm not writing those two off. I think Rodak still has a part to play in this team. Long term, Hector at the moment, Anderson and Adebayo, you can't drop them. But I'd like to see Hector maybe be reintroduced as that third choice centre back. But Fulham has still got Terence Congolo, who's injured, who we haven't seen play yet. He's played half a game for us since last January. When he signed on loan from Huddersfield in January last year, he played half a game against Man City in the Cup, and then he was out for the rest of the season, and we still bought him at the end of the season.
It must be good then, or you're hoping.
Well, you know, we just haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah, fair point. So we'll go through the match facts against Leicester. Possession, Leicester had 68% possession.
Yes.
Which shows that when you had the ball, you were lethal. You used your possession.
I wouldn't say that Leicester did nothing with that 68% there. You know, Leicester had the ball for long periods of the game, but couldn't break us down because we were so organised. When we got the ball, we looked deadly on the counter every single time. We looked like we were going to score. But as I said, I think tactically Scott Parker got it correct, and he got it bang on.
Yeah, and again with the possession, that is a prime example that possession doesn't win you football matches. So, shots, Leicester had 16, 3 of which were on target, and Fulham had 10 shots, 5 of which were on target.
Which I think also is a crazy stat. You see a team with 32% possession in 90 minutes. You wouldn't expect them to get 10 shots off on goal. Leicester had 16 shots. They had 6 more shots than us, but they had less shots on target than us. So Leicester, with the ball, they had all of the ball. It's clear to see. They've had a lion's share of the ball, and they still didn't have the best chances in the game. But I must say, Harvey Barnes' goal is absolutely incredible. The touch off his chest and the finish is
the half volley.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. And I wouldn't say Leicester deserved the goal, but I think the way the goal went in, they definitely deserved the goal.
Yeah, fair point. Very good goal from Barnes. Sorry, and the only thing, when Barnes scored, it was like the 85th or 86th minute.
It was 84 minutes in, you know. But then the last 10 minutes, as Fulham fans, were very, very nervy. We were watching the game and just behind our fingers. But, you know, we could have wrapped the game up right at the end. Mitrovic gets the ball. Schmeichel comes up for the corner. The ball gets cleared. Mitrovic is running to the halfway line and decides to pass the ball to Aina, who then has a striking goal. Then we get the corner. But, you know, I don't know why Mitrovic isn't shooting. Maybe, again, that proves that he's not 100% fit, because it is a long way to try and direct that ball, and maybe he's just not got it in his legs.
Yeah. Good point. I remember seeing that on Monday. It was Schmeichel got caught trying to equalise for his team, and Leicester then lost the ball. Mitrovic took it just past the halfway line and gave it to Olaena, who couldn't lift the ball over whoever the defender was. It was probably Johnny Evans, but I think it's
we didn't need to score there. We were still leading, and after the corner gets cleared, I think that's when I relaxed a little bit. The corner's gone out, and we've got possession of the football. But even Brendan Rodgers said that Leicester were beaten by the better team on the day. So I think there's no doubt. You look at the stats, and some people that without watching the game will look at the stats, you go, "Oh, Fulham have been lucky there," but I don't think Fulham were lucky. I think we were very, very good value for that 2-1 result.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Huge result for Fulham.
Oh, it's massive, and hopefully now it gives us a platform to work with, because
sort of open the floodgates, sort of thing.
I wouldn't say open the floodgates. We've got Man City and Liverpool in the next 2 games. We know they're going to be tough games. But what that game has proved is we are capable of beating the better teams in this league. Leicester are one of the best teams in the league. There's not a doubt about that. They're in the top 6-7 teams in this league, and we've managed to beat them at home. But saying that, Leicester haven't had the best luck at home this year. But we're not going to complain about that. 3 points is very important to us at the moment, and it's 3 points that is again taking us out of the relegation zone. And that's the only place we need to be.
3 points is 3 points, and when you're down there in the relegation fight as Fulham are this season, it's huge to get 3 points against Leicester.
I think it's even bigger this weekend because other results didn't go our way. West Brom managed to pick up 3 points as well this weekend, so they put pressure on us by putting us back into the zone, and we've hit back immediately by picking up 3 points at the King Power. So we're now 17th. That's where we need to finish. Anything higher than that's a bonus. Anything lower, we go down. So 17th for me is the target, and at the moment we're on target.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the table, Burnley are 19th, sat on 5 points. West Brom 18th, sat on 6, and Fulham 17th, sat on 7. So it is a very tight race. But what I do want to ask you, are you a little bit nervous about Burnley because they've got a game in hand?
Am I nervous about Burnley? Possibly, but if Burnley win their game in hand and then they pick up results and pull themselves out, it just means there's another team that's going to get dragged into that zone. It's a long old season. We're still only 10 games in as well. But at the moment, we're 17th. That's exactly where we need to finish. So for now, I'm not worried about Burnley because they're below us. If they creep above us, then maybe you get worried about your position, but you can't worry about the other teams. You have to focus on your results and the way you're playing football.
Yeah, Burnley, they're an odd team. They sometimes they have hot and cold patches. Sometimes they're really good, they're on form, and other times they just can't string a pass together. They've got that game in hand, obviously. So for Fulham, they've just got to hope that when the game against Burnley comes around, they can pick up a result against them, because then that will probably help support the gap between them. And like you said, you're sitting 17th. You said at the start of the season, for Fulham, it's just about being better than 3 teams in the league.
So you have to be.
Yeah. Finishing 17th is a good season for Fulham.
That's the target.
Yeah. And I have to agree with you there. It is good. But if we look at your next game, it's away at Manchester City. Predictions?
Fulham 4-0.
Fulham are going to win 4-0.
No, of course not. Man City have, I think they're starting to hit the ground running. Maybe they beat Burnley 5-0, but Burnley have not been great this year. I read a stat actually that Man City, I think in their last 7 games that have been on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, they've scored 19 goals and conceded 1, which doesn't fill me with masses of confidence. But if we play like we did against Leicester, we could be within a chance. I'm not saying that we're going to go and beat Manchester City because it'd be a ludicrous thing to state. But if we can defend like we did on Monday, who knows?
Yeah, if you reproduce the magic that the midfield, the defence, and the attack performed, maybe you could even if you nick a point of Man City, that is a huge result.
I think we needed to start targeting points of this run. This run included Everton at home, Leicester away, Man City away, Liverpool at home, and then Newcastle, I believe, is in the 5th game. If you look at those games, even the most optimistic Fulham fan would have probably predicted us picking up 3 points from them 5. We've picked up 3 points in 2, with another 3 remaining. Any other points now are bonus points from what anyone would have predicted us to pick up anyway. So us getting 3 points against a team like Leicester actually, I think, puts us in a very good position going into this run of teams that we've got to play in that top half of the table. Whereas other teams may not have, in our position, may not have the run of these top teams together. If we pick up any points against these top teams and they fail to pick up points, it's an advantage to us.
Yeah, if we look at your last 5 games, obviously the 2-1 win against Leicester, the 3-2 loss to Everton, the unfortunate 1-0 loss to West Ham, the 2-0 win at home to West Brom, and the 2-1 loss to Palace. So,
even if you go back to the Palace game, every game in that list there, Fulham should have got something out of the game. We should have got something out of the Palace game, but Zaha was just fantastic that day and we didn't defend well in the first half. The West Brom game, we played well, we beat them 2-0. West Ham were good for the first 10 minutes of the first half, first 10 minutes of the second half. Other than that, the game was 50-50 and it could have gone either way. Win, draw or loss. Either way. Then we play Everton, and as you know, Everton started the game off on a high. We conceded after 40 seconds and we were 3-1 down by the 35th minute. So, to end the game 3-2 is quite an achievement as well. We didn't concede from the 35th minute onwards, and we had chances to get something out of that game also. Missed penalty in the West Ham game, missed penalty in the Everton game. So, and then we go to Leicester and we do pick up the win. So, you look at our last 5, Fulham could have had points in every single game. And not many teams in their last 5 games, win, loss, draw, whatever, can say that in all 5 of those games they could have had something.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the main focus of Fulham this year is to stay up, stay in the division. And if you were to end the season now, they've done that.
Yep.
So far, so good for Fulham, which is huge. And I don't think there's much else to talk about. I think that's all we've got for this week. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
Then yeah, that will be it for this week. Let's get the views up on the last 2 videos. If you're new around here, don't forget to like and subscribe. New content is on the way through gaming videos and more podcasts as well. And yeah, that's all from me, all from you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, as always. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.
Bye.